Welcome back. The Ministry of Industrialisation and Trade held its stakeholders' engagements on the administration of the Liquor Act of 1998 and the official inauguration of the Kavango West Regional Liquor Licensing Committee at Nkurenkuru, the capital of the Kavango East Region, yesterday. Stakeholder engagements aimed inter alia to inform the community on the establishment of the regional committee and to create awareness on the administration of the Liquor Act. For more details, we are now joined virtually by Mr. Joseph Shikongo, who is the Deputy Director responsible for standards, weights and measures within the Ministry of Industrialisation and Trade. Good morning, sir, and welcome to Good Morning Namibia.
Good morning, and good morning to the listeners and the viewers.
Are you well on this gift of a Friday, sir?
Yeah, we are well in Nkurenkuru. The weather is fine, just a little bit chilly. But otherwise, everything is in order.
We're very happy to hear that. Talk to us about what exactly transpired at Nkurenkuru yesterday, please.
Yesterday was basically a stakeholder engagement where we had the law enforcement, ourselves from the Ministry of Trade, and then from the Office of the Judiciary and the business people together to educate each other on everybody's rights and obligations with regard to the sales and supply of alcohol, as well as engage on some issues that are pertinent on the administration of the Act and how to go forward with the administration of the Act.
Thank you for that overview, Mr. Shikongo. Now, one of the matters we understand that featured pertinently at the engagement relates to, of course, the establishment of the regional committee. How did that organ, how did that platform come about?
Kavango West was declared an autonomous region in 2013 by His Excellency. Happy birthday for that matter. By His Excellency, Dr. Ifike Punyakwamba in 2013. And due to an oversight since 2013, no committee was established. So the applications and considerations of applications for Kavango West has always been done in Rundu, which is in Kavango East. But the requirement of the Act is that there must be an involvement of a local health officer, a local law enforcement officer for the consideration of applications. But that was not done for the past 13 years since the establishment of the Kavango West region. So it was the tedious process because Kavango West does not have a district court. Kavango West only has a periodical court, which is held at Kaenga. And the law requires that the court or the sitting must be in the seat of the region. And in terms of the regional local authority, Regional Councils Act, the head or the seat of Kavango West is in Nkurenkuru. So the seat must be in Nkurenkuru and all the meetings must be held in Nkurenkuru. So we just came to cure that anomaly.
How exactly was that anomaly cured? Is an amendment to legislation on the cards, or how are you circumventing it lawfully at this juncture, sir?
No, together with the Office of the Judiciary and the Magistracy, there is a magistrate appointed to be the chairperson of the committee. And then the administration is a little bit cozy, but it's just a temporary measure that the magistrate resides in Rundu and will be commuting on a monthly basis to come and hear the applications in Nkurenkuru. So the legal aspects about the appointment of the magistrate in the absence of a court has been cured for the time being until a court has been established in Nkurenkuru.
Very well, sir. Let's please have regard to the Liquor Act and the Ministry of Industrialisation and Trade being the primary custodian of the Act. What in broad strokes does the Act provide for, and what in broad strokes does the Act make provision for in terms of the custodian role of the ministry?
The role of the ministry is mostly administrative, in that the law has been cascaded to, and the powers of the act has been cascaded down to the committee. So the ministry only plays an administrative role to oversee that services has been provided within the limits of the act. So the Ministry of Justice, and by extension the judiciary, provides the administrative part of the work, including the chairmanship of the committees. And then whatever happens, there is independence of the functions of the committees that are comprised of members of the community within all 14 regions. So there is no interference from the ministry as to what applications must be had and what considerations should be given. It's mainly the administrative role that the ministry plays in support of the committees.
Mr. Shikongo, previously you were a guest on the Wheels of Justice, where you very comprehensively explained to us the various types of liquor licenses that exist and what the process and the procedures entail to apply for those. Could you perhaps just give us an overview of the different types of licenses, but also now that a magistrate based in Rundu will be commuting between Rundu and Nkurenkuru, how the application process for any type of a liquor license will henceforth work?
We have different types of licenses. There are on-consumption licenses and there are off-consumption licenses. On-consumption is where you buy and consume on the premises, on the licensed premises. Off-consumption is where you buy and take away, which is wherever you want to go and consume your liquor. So the process in Nkurenkuru and Kavango West is completely different from what is happening in all other regions. Because the applications will be received, this case not at the magistrate's court, but at the office, at the regional office of the Minister of Trade. And then the payments will be done at the regional council offices. And then the Minister of Trade officials will transmit to the secretary that is based together with the magistrate in Rundu. And then they will collate and do the assessment of the application and commute with all those applications to Nkurenkuru for considerations by the committee, which comprised of officials that are residing here. The NAMPOL, the commander of the police, the regional commander of the police, and his GPDs, the health officials in the districts and the region, as well as other members appointed by the regional council and so forth. But this is merely because there is no court in Nkurenkuru. That's why the transmission will be done in Rundu, but the hearings will take place in Nkurenkuru.
Mr. Shikongo,
you know,
with all due respect,
yes?
With all due respect, the process still sounds very tedious. And if I am inferring correctly, you earlier said that this is a temporary measure. Is an amendment to legislation on the cards to provide a long-term solution, also to streamline and fine-tune this process?
No, there is not going to be any amendment to the law, because you have to read the two laws together, the Liquor Act together with the Magistrates Court Act, and how to align them together. But as far as we are concerned, in order to streamline the process now, we have to align the regulations. But there is no way that we can get around the regulations to do what we are doing now. We only have to change the law, and that process is long. So what we have done now, in cooperation with the magistracy, is the most perfect way that we can solve the problem for the time being.
Again, you're saying for the time being, so what is the long-term solution that's on the cards? Indeed, an amendment to legislation?
I cannot speak on behalf of the judiciary, nor can I speak on behalf of the Minister of Justice that is responsible for capital projects and the establishment of courts. But what we were informed is that the establishment of a court in Nkurenkuru is a priority that will happen in a year or two. So in the meantime, whatever happens is we are going to use the transitional process that we have established.
Very well. Any final thoughts this morning, Mr. Shikongo, before we let you go?
No, we would just like to thank the community of Kavango West for the enthusiasm. The stakeholder engagement yesterday was very successful. We had around 150 persons attending, and the interaction were positive, and the questions and the concerns raised were very positive. But we are going forward, we'll see how to address some of these problems that have been identified in the region. And some of the problems identified or the challenges are also, it can also be, it also take place in regions.
And we're mindful of the fact that those challenges are not peculiar to Kavango West, but could you very briefly flag some of those challenges that were raised at the engagement yesterday?
The funny one is where the traditional authorities are issuing licenses in contravention of the law. And the other issues are the misunderstanding of trading hours, the closed days, the public holidays, how to interpret the public holidays, and then the issuing of temporary licenses. Because here in Nkurenkuru, you have a Nkurenkuru beach, similar to what you have in Rundu Beach.
Rundu Beach, yeah.
Now those, when they have festivities, they take longer than a week. And how to handle those temporary licenses for those particular events. But we explained on the best possible way to remedy the situation in the event that you have more than 7 days and so forth and so forth.
Will you take action against those traditional authorities allegedly issuing liquor licenses in contravention of the law?
It was just an issue of misinterpretation and the definition of words. But we will engage the traditional authorities. It's an authority on its own. It's not only the traditional authority in Kavango West. It happens somewhere else as well. We'll engage, and it's a matter of wording. They are allowed to issue licenses for trading, but not for alcohol. That's the misinterpretation of the law because they have also powers under the local authority.
Mr. Shikongo Dapandula Unene, please travel back safely from Kavango West to the capital in the Khomas region. There you have it, Mr. Joseph Shikongo. He's the Deputy Director in the Ministry of Industrialisation and Trade, inter alia responsible for standards, weights and measures, talking to us about a consultative engagement session that was underway in the capital of Kavango West, it's in Nkurenkuru, about the administration of the Liquor Act. We'll be back to speak to you about biomass matters.